So welcome again. I am Nicholas Rose, the Visual Arts Development Specialist here at Jcdc. We are here today to have our artist talk. We're meeting with some of the gold medal winners from the 2021 exhibition, and we will have our moderator be none other than our chief adjudicator, Ms. Donna Zaka. Each person are going to introduce themselves, but I just want to formally welcome everyone again. We should be joined by my administrator also. But in the meantime, again, welcome and happy to see everyone. Yes. So over to you, Ms. Zaka.
Let me see, right, my mic is on. Thank you so very much, sir. It really is a pleasure to be here, Mr. Rose, and for the rest of us, Dale, former student, and I am sure there are going to be more happy artists joining this group. Congratulations to the awardees. It was an interesting year, 2021. As difficult as it was, you guys managed to work and to keep the standard high. On behalf of Jcdc and all of the judges, I would like to commend you. Congratulations. You have done well. We have kept our standard. Right, we've kept our standard and we are still going. I have worked out a little time system for everybody to talk about their work. Each medalist will have 10 minutes or so, if you can make it. If you can't, it's all right. But we'll give you 10 minutes to talk about your process. How were you inspired? How would you describe the work that you've done? How would you encourage others to get involved with that kind of process? And then we're going to open the floor for the announcement, the public vote, and we can talk about that for about 5 minutes. And we'll take your suggestions and comments for the remaining 15 minutes of the evening. I have a clock. There is no great rule. We'll just talk until we're done, right? So that's is correct. Everybody here? Is everybody here? Donna is here. Is Renard Harris here? And Kadeem Williams?
I'm here. I'm here, Ms. Aka.
Okay, good. Renard?
I don't see Renard yet, but we have the two ladies. Also, happy Peace Day, everyone. I said it to panel first, but saying it to everyone. Yes, more peace, especially with what's happening, in Russia and Ukraine and the rest of the world. It's a time for us to spread more peace.
Yes, it is. It is. Did everybody see the show? Did everybody see the exhibition?
That is a good question.
Everybody saw the exhibition?
Haven't you missing out?
No part of the exhibition?
Yes, we've seen the exhibition.
Okay, you've seen the exhibition.
Yes.
Dale, did you see the exhibition? We need to talk about the exhibition a little bit. You have to go and see the exhibition.
I didn't see it.
You never saw it. Mr. Rose, we might have to do a virtual exhibition, Mr. Rose. I am thinking that some people are still not encouraged to go out or go out in public. So it might be a good idea to, how are we going to get all of these people to see the show? We might have to do a virtual thing. Israel Brown?
I also have good news.
What happened?
Yes, Israel, welcome. He's the first
Yes,
place
sir.
winner for the youth section. Congrats
Yes.
again, man.
Thank you.
So the good news is that the exhibition will be extended. So Dale, whenever you come into Kingston, because I know you're in another region, make sure you're there. But we're gonna extend until about the 25th of March. The Jamaica Conference Center has reached out. They're gonna have some delegates coming through, prospective buyers. So we want to make it available for artists to get that opportunity.
Yes, sir. Sounds like good news.
Mr.
Yes,
Rose,
indeed.
how do we know that our artwork was sold?
Once it's sold or there is an interest, we'll reach out to you, the artist.
Oh,
Nevertheless, once you're in the area, you can pass through and look. We normally put a red tag on the label. So still, I want everybody to still encourage everyone to go and view the exhibition, since we have been having some school tours, and I have to say they're impressed. Yesterday we had Minto Primary from St. Thomas. They traveled all the way just to see your artworks. And I want to tell you, they were very impressed. It's a primary school and they have a visual arts club program running, and they were super excited.
It is also good for you to be there to talk about your work. I went yesterday as well, and the security guard engaged me in talking about a piece of work. So it is nice to be there. If you're even not talking about your work personal, you can talk about everything else that's on the wall.
That's true. And we see Renard joining now, so I think we have all our panelists present.
Mr. Rose, can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
There was a section of the building where they were doing some work and some pieces had come down. Do you know if those have been put back up yet?
Not as yet. That's I shared good news. Yes, we have that challenging part of the news. It's unfortunate the same way, because they're doing renovation at the conference center. But we know when they're finished, it's going to have a more contemporary look for us to have, you know, much grander exhibition. So some works were taken down because we don't want anything to happen to the artist's work. We have identified a space, but they have not been put up as yet. But we're aiming at that because we want everyone to get, you know, equal opportunity for any traffic that's going through the conference. Apart from that, does that answer your question, Lady James?
Yes, sir. I was asking because mine was one of the ones that were taken down.
I
When
know.
I came to the exhibition, I didn't see it because we entered from upstairs from the car park, and I actually didn't realize that the exhibition carried right out to the foyer.
Oh,
So I
yes.
went back on another day, and when I went back, unfortunately, it had been taken down.
Oh,
So
no.
sorry, I was feeling a little disappointed, to say the least.
Oh no, sorry about that, but we're definitely gonna make it worthwhile. So I think, you know, within a week or so, we should be having, you know, everything back as usual. But nevertheless, we're gonna have an entire question and answer section where we open the floor at the end. But I know there are artists who want to hear from hear from the panelists today, hear from our moderator. So I'm going to hand over to you back, Lady Zaka. And
Thank
the
you,
rest of the
sir.
questions, concerns, we can jot down questions and anything else, comments, until after we can just open the floor as artists and persons interested in art.
And before I ask the questions again, I just want to remind you guys that the JCDC is a very important part of our culture. Without the JCDC, we wouldn't be able to find and to harness and to nurture our creativity collectively. So the JCDC is seen, and for people to be every year encouraged to take part in this kind of competition and show. And if you don't believe in competing, then it can be a show. You can talk about it. You can invite people to come and see. But it is a necessary and important part of school life, or just the lives of creative persons around. Very, very important. Please talk about it. A lot of us have benefited from JCDC, and I am one of them. My career is built on JCDC. Somebody like Faye Ellington's career is built on JCDC. Tony Patel. Those are important creative persons in our country, and they started with the JCDC. And now this is where you're at. You're about to begin. Are the winners is here? Pardon?
Yes, they're here. I was just going to add that there was a news, a release with a lady in England. How many persons saw that? And she also recognized
It was on this morning.
JCDC. Good.
It was on this morning. Was Deshauna, I think, Deshauna Watson?
Yes.
I saw it. I was jumping for joy. That
Yeah.
is such a good move. Yes, yes, yes.
Very
But
proud, very proud.
Not just Desana, there's a principal lady, man, in the UK who she runs an entire school, and she was
Primary
saying,
school.
yeah, primary school, and she used art, you know, the arts to reach out to the students. But definitely, JCDC has been the stepping stone for many.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you the questions, and we can hear from the bronze medalist first, then the silver, and then the gold. I'm giving you up to 10 minutes. If you can make it, it's all right. If not, so it is.
Question, Miss Zaka.
Yes, sir.
Is that picture of behind you related to Mr. Rose? Is the person on the picture of Mr. Rose?
No, the person on the picture is Dr. David Boxer. The portrait is of David Boxer, and what I did digitally was to impose Boxer's style on the imagery. So I came up with that. Dr. David Boxer is the founder of the National Gallery of Jamaica. He was a chief curator. He died about 4 years ago.
Also an artist, and was the director
And
there for a
photographer.
while. So
Yeah.
it's a good comparison, Mr. Radcliffe. Let me also take this time to welcome my colleagues. Mr. Radcliffe is the speech specialist and creative writing. So I know that a lot of our visual artists are writers too, so we can enter the performing arts aspect also. I love to write, but that's a different thing.
I see a certain Lions on your program. He's in the zoo. Lions is quite one of the winners. But
Mr. Radcliffe, greetings.
Wow. But I mean, the conversation is good. And I think the direction of having the people who are winners talk about their work is good, because who knows, maybe I'll enter next year.
Good.
We're looking forward. And as I said, we have some other things. I want everybody to wait until the end, stay to the end. We're going to announce the viewers vote winner. So there has been an online gallery on Facebook of all the artworks, and the person who got the most likes will be announced. I already announced that the exhibition will be extended. We're also gonna have a series of workshops, 4 days actually, where we're gonna look at each category individually. So that will all, I'll say some more about that also at the end. But the workshops will be the week of the 14th to the 18th. So we're gonna cover the drawing, the painting, all our categories. We have some of the best presenters, trainers, and it's going to be very interactive. You're gonna be having Lady Zaka there also for photography. But I'll mention some others. But in the meantime, I want Ms. Zaka to take charge and we want to hear from these gold medal winners. I'll share their artworks while they speak also.
All right. So it is 5:20. We're not going to say anything else. We want to hear from Kadim, Renard, and Donnery, the bronze medalists first. How did you hear about JCDC? That's the first question. How were you inspired, or how are you inspired? And talk to us a little bit about your work, the process of doing the work, the material you used to do the work, and did you achieve what you intended to achieve? And the questions are basically the same for everybody.
Okay, well, hello everybody. I hope y'all are having a wonderful day. So how I heard about the JCDC, well, I normally hear about it year to year, but one of my lecturers encouraged me to enter. So that's how I started on my process. I entered pieces that were a part of my final year collection, which was inspired by plastic pollution, specifically regarding the negative effects of the plastic pollution. So plastic in our ocean, so they cause damages to our corals. And that's what I wanted to look at, because I love the sea. I've always loved the sea. So that was something that drove me to do something, because I was passionate about it. And I always believe that your art should be led by something of passion. So this piece that's currently on the screen, that was actually
Donnery,
yes.
Before you go any further, you said one of your lecturers. Just bear in mind that a lot of people won't know where you're from.
I'm sorry.
Right.
So yes, I attended the Edna Manley College of the Visual and Performing Arts, and then one of my dear lecturers encouraged me to enter the competition. So this piece actually was done in my 3rd year, and this was the beginning of my exploration. So I am a tapestry artist, well, textile, and I mostly do tapestries. So far, I've been experimenting in that. So I started off just to play around to see how I could get a feel of the ocean. So the oceans, normally when I look at the corals, I see a lot of colors. So that's why you can see in this piece, there's a lot of colors. Also entwined, there's a lot of red, which my interpretation was that the sea was bleeding because of all of the plastic. I know you cannot see it on this specific piece, but there are actually scandal bags entwined in that piece. This piece now, this was the gem of my final year in my perspective. So this one was also, well, a deeper study on the effects of the plastics. So I had some areas which were, especially the white areas, those are completely made of plastic foam. So the foams from the 5-gallon bottles. I wanted to show persons that you can actually recycle and create things that are beautiful and have meaning. So they were both for recycling, educational purposes. And it's also a great way to, clean up and contribute to the environment, which is what I wanted to show to my viewers and anybody that asks, out of curiosity, why did you use plastic? So I wanted to incorporate as much of that as possible. And
when did you become aware of the environmental situation? Was that school or before school?
Well, this was before school, and in 2020, the government started to put a ban on plastic, so it started to become more popular. Persons were starting to be more aware of it. Well, I had already started prior to, but this was something that further encouraged me or pushed me to, you know, I want to be somebody who is pushing for this as well. So it was something that I felt like I could contribute to. So that's why I said, you know, this is the thing that I'm going to use for my final year show, and I just went with it.
Have you gone to places like Helsha or any of any of your
Yes.
course line?
So
Are
Hell
you-
Show
Go ahead.
is, so yes, I went to Hellshaw a few times during my years in Kingston for school. And when I went there, I realized that there was a lot of dead seaweed. So when you go there, there's a lot of seaweeds in the water. Sometimes you don't even want to go in the water because of all that dead seaweed. And also a lot of the sand is no longer there because the sea is coming and taking over. So the experiences like those were what really drove me. And it's not only Hellshaw. When doing my research, I came more and more up on how dangerous it actually is, how much plastics are in the ocean, the plastic that we throw through the car windows, we just leave them anywhere. They all somehow end up in the ocean. And once they get there, they're not going to leave. So even if we collectively collect the plastics from the ocean, there are microplastics that cannot ever come back out. And things like the corals will die, animals like the turtle will also die, because unlike humans, the turtles cannot say, oh, this is a plastic, I shouldn't eat it. They're going to eat it because they think it's food. So I wanted to capture all of this, even though this piece is specifically to the corals. That was a part of the message that I spoke about in my final year presentation.
Okay. Those semicircular shapes that we're looking at in this piece on the screen, are those sand dollars, corals?
Yes, they're corals, and those were made from coiling. So I use the base of the coils are actually plastic rope. So the regular rope that you can get at the hardware, I use those and I coiled it with the yarn to create this effect. I had to do multiple of them so I can layer it, but that was what it is.
Okay, okay. And the white area, the white yarn, what would that represent?
The white, so the white parts are the areas are the corals that are completely dead. So the term is bleach. They have lost all their colors because they're now dead. And I chose, those are foams. So the little foams that they use to seal the 5-gallon bottles, the water bottles, I took out the foams and I wove them into the tapestry. So that my interpretation was that the sea was literally becoming plastic. So if we're not careful with our oceans and how we treat it, our corals will eventually die out and become plastic, because the plastic will be far more than the corals that are left in the sea.
I see. I see. I think the fact that you can use the artwork to represent something that is so pressing is very good. It's commendable that you are thinking ahead. You're thinking about what is current, and you can use your creative thought to mold a piece like this using yarn. Very, very, very good. What sizes, do you remember the size of the piece?
The size, if I remember correctly, I think this one was about 60 or 50. Trying to remember the dimensions.
It's big.
Yes, it's a very big piece because I had challenges getting it to Kingston because of the size. So it was a very big piece. I can't remember the exact dimensions right now, but it was one of my larger pieces.
So guys, I want to encourage you to go to the conference center. I think this piece is upstairs.
Yes, it
Congratulations, and thank you
Thank you very much.
We'll ask you the questions afterwards.
No problem.
Our silver awardee. Is our silver awardee ready?
Can I ask a question of the ocean lady?
We wanted to keep we wanted to keep the questions until the end, the last few minutes in the end. All
Okay,
right.
so just jot down those questions, or you can drop something in the chat in between if you don't feel like you're gonna forget Sir Radcliffe. But yeah, we're gonna have that segment at the end, and I'll pull up at the photos if necessary.
Yes.
Yes, and again, welcome to all the persons who are joining now. I also see the Director of the Arts Development and Training Unit, Mr. Broadbow. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Welcome, everyone.
Yes, again,
Thank you so much.
All the educators, the teachers, all the students. As I said, our first place junior prize winner, Israel Brown, is here. Lecturers also. Welcome. Over to you,
Silver.
Sir
Silver
Renard.
Wadi.
Yes, Renard Harris.
How are you, sir?
I am good. I'm good. Thanks.
All right. The process is the same. We want to ask you how you heard about JCDC. And how have you been inspired? And talk to us a little bit about the process of the work. Why are you making that kind of work? How are you inspired? Okay, go ahead.
All right. So I heard about, well, I've known about the JCDC Visual Arts competition for a while now, but I've never really entered it. But last year, I saw it on social media and so forth. So, I got inspired to, just try it out and see how I would, how successful it would be for me. The title of my work is Young Culture, and it's a continuation of a body of work that I did at Edna Manley. My final year, it was 2020, where I was sort of looking at bike culture in Jamaica, more specifically towards the Yang bikes, which have become the most popular bikes in the country right now. Really because of the aesthetics that drive the culture, the visual aesthetic, the sound aesthetic, and the mobility, it being able to take you from point A to point B quicker than any other motor vehicle on the road, and really because of how rebellious the culture is as well, and also how dancehall culture plays a major part within bike culture. So on the bikes, for example, the one that you're looking at now, it was inspired, like the design was inspired by a popular song by Skillibeng, a song called Hot. So the design that I use on it, there are flames and so forth, and I had some, different paraphernalia that sort of reflect that rebellious kind of expression, which dancehall is mostly known for. So that's what the work really is about. It's just highlighting a current cultural experience that is in the country right now, because even I myself have had experiences with the Yang bikes, well, not a positive experience, because one of my phones got stolen by someone riding a Yang. So that also adds to the whole purpose of why I chose to explore this particular idea. Also the cardboard, because it's made out of 100% cardboard. I wanted to sort of change the narrative that people have of cardboard, of it being something that you just throw away, discard, of to being something that is desirable. So the cardboard would be something that you just discard of, or something that you can use to sort of package things. But in this sense, the cardboard has become something that can be packaged, in a sense, something that can be used to beautify a particular location. It can become something that is site specific, in a sense. So that's what the work really highlights. I try to make it as detailed as possible, so that they can draw people's attention and show people the possibilities that you can get from using cardboard, like this bike. that you're looking at now, it references Rastafari culture, because Rastafari or Rastas in Jamaica, they have a history with bikes, in Jamaica. For example, the 1970s, Rastas were known for, being a major part of, bike culture. A lot of them used to like the Honda 50s and so forth. So I wanted to include them within the whole work as well, include their different symbols and so forth. Iconography, the Rastafari symbol and the marijuana leaves and the colors. So that also adds to the, the cultural dynamic of, bike culture, how bikers can really modify their bikes and personalize their bikes and create an identity, from, just this particular culture that is driven by a motorbike, so that's what the work is really about.
Okay, there was a lot of discussion around your work during the judging sessions. And it was good to hear from Mr. Cole, who is a specialist on sculpture. When I looked at your work first, I thought of the word craft. And then he said, oh, no. No. This man is very skilled at constructing. You're almost like an architect. So each piece, each element of this construction is important for the bike to look and appear this way, to feel this way. It is commendable. It is commendable what you were able to do with cardboard, and you're very deserving of your award. I want to congratulate you personally. Very, very good.
Yeah, man.
Lady Zaka, can I interject just to welcome our adjudicators? I see them also online. Mr. Cole is here.
Okay.
Philip Thomas. Just to welcome a few. So just welcoming everyone online. I see a lot of our entrants, and I hope that you'll be re-entering this year, because it's Jamaica 60 and we have something special in store. Something very special. There's a special Jamaica 60 award. So apart from doing or entering artworks, of your theme, if there's one that, showing something that embodies Jamaica 60, there's a special award for that. So again, welcome to everyone. Welcome to all our artists. And as I said, please encourage others to also enter. I also see Miss Sana Rose, welcome. My former specialist who have laid the foundation for me. Welcome,
yes.
madam.
So Mr. Harris,
Zaka.
Mr. Harris, we're going to ask the floor to keep their questions until after our gold medalist make her statement. Thank you very much, Mr. Harris.
Yeah, man. All right.
Gold awardee. The gold.
Hello, hi, Miss Aka.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, how you heard about the JCDC, how you were inspired to do this work, and tell us a little bit about the work itself.
Okay. Firstly, I'm Edna grad alongside Donna, and I heard about JCDC from my lecturer. So for years I wanted to enter, but I was not sure of the timeline. So I guess this year was my year. My works, what did I say? I believe I channel my personal, or better yet, my experiences in my work. I think I'm more effective that way. I get my message across, and to me, it's more powerful when it's personal, when it's coming from within, when it's something that I've experienced or any artist has experienced. I think it's more powerful.
Right.
So for each work, originally it's part of it was part of my final year body of works. And starting out, I was not sure what I wanted to do for the final year. I'm sorry, I'm on the road if you hear some background noises. Yes, so I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, and having a conversation with that same lecturer, she kind of helped me in a bit to figure what I wanted to do. So I started to think about identity and the whole relationship between me and my mother. So I was a bit afraid to address some of the things that happened in our relationship. Like, she was very strict and she was a no-nonsense type of lady where she's not in the foolishness. She's not into it, right? So she's very strict, and for a long while it was hard to talk to her and so on. But I use all of
Oops.
those experiences.
Oh no,
I
we
think we're
lose Nadine a little. While she gets on, I'll be sharing her works in the meantime. Persons who have seen the exhibition already would have seen.
Oh, I'm back.
Okay, wonderful.
Oh, sorry guys. So I started with this piece originally, Bantu nuts. So originally I had processed hair. My mother could not manage my hair. I have a lot of hair. It's really thick, so she could not manage to take care of my hair. So she opted to process it or relax it. And when I went natural, she was the one that cut my hair and everything. I think that was 2016. I was going to Edna. And the first hairstyle that she gave me was the Chinese bumper, the Bantu nuts. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay. Yes, so the Bantu nuts was the first hairstyle. And even today, I really love wearing the Bantu nuts. It's as if it's very symbolic. When you wear it, you stand out. So I thought that hairstyle was the one to which is come out. So I'm going natural, and I would say going back to my roots. So for the other works, I looked at, oh yes, this one, hair quotes. So I was looking at things that she would say, and even though and being an adult now, I'm replicating these things that she said. Oh, man, run away, and God knows best, and all of these things. It's a bit old-fashioned because she's an old-fashioned type of mom. But all of these things that she said to me, I realize they become part of me. I repeat them to other people. Sometimes people say I'm old because it's like, this old soul.
Right. What's the material you're using?
Oh, yes. For the materials, I used yarn. So I wanted to give it that hair texture, that really textured look. So I unraveled the yarn. So you have that messy, curly, natural hair look. And then for this one, I used the combs. The combs are symbolic because I wanted to show that we weren't rich. And if you're growing up poor, these are the combs that you go to the shop and buy. Like, these are the go-to combs.
Right. And the hairstyle.
Didn't hear you.
I was just thinking that the hairstyle might have been a very important feature for your mother.
Yes.
It's one feminine thing that you must take care of.
Yes, it was self-care. And even sitting down in front of her and bonding, she'd tell me stories, and you could hear stories of when she went to school and the things that she used to do. And it was really bonding, and we exchanged a lot of things during that process of hair combing.
Right. So you have a cultural take on your art. It is
Yes.
a personal kind of presentation.
Yes.
Very, very, very good. Very good. congratulations again, my dear. And
Thank you.
we're going to open for questions and answers a little bit more. Mr. Rose, I think we're at the point when you can announce your winners. Or is there Israel Brown going to say something about his work? You have Israel Brown's work?
I could share, but we wanted to focus on the adult section.
Adults.
Yes,
Okay.
because I think we didn't want to lose some of the youths entrance, because remember we're going down to 6-year-olds, so we wanted to keep it at this level first. But I think in the future we're definitely going to hear from the youths, because for those who missed the award ceremony, it's still on our JCDC YouTube channel, so please go and watch it. And you'd have heard from Israel along with other youth entrants. There are also other videos. We had a lovely interactive virtual Heritage Week video, which was also wonderful with some of our select medalists over the year. So please go and watch and stream these highlights, these videos, and you'll be in tune with all that's happening. Also go and check out the social media pages. As I said, things will be posted soon. And we have a lot in store for visual arts. I want to also take this opportunity. We welcome Dale Badassi, but we didn't mention he's representing the Ministry of Education. And I don't know how many persons saw, but the Ministry of Education for Jamaica Day, which just ended, was focusing on arts, right? So it's so interesting that the JCDC now is open for entries. And as I said, the performing arts are accepting entries and will be closing soon. Mr. Radcliffe can share that when he speaks. And visual arts or closing is March 31st. So you can write down those dates. And as I said, any other questions, you can ask me when the floor is open, but let's first, focus on the artists.
So you can now go ahead and make your announcement, and then when we're open for questions and answers, we'll get back to our awardees.
Oh, also welcome to Miss Doris, who's representing Kingston Creatives. Welcome.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, Doris Cross.
Awesome. So the floor is open. I'm going to announce the Viewers Vote Awards after.
Okay.
Miss Giselle Atkinson, the Visual Arts Administrator, can read some of the comments or questions in the chat now. And also, say a few things also. Atkinson.
Good evening, everyone. Well, there are no questions in the chat. I'm just seeing Mr. Dale saying that he's looking forward to a collaboration that will
Hi,
help
Miss
to increase the number of
Atkinson. Can you hear me?
Hi, I'm hearing you.
Someone bigging you up, Miss Atkinson.
I'm
Yes,
hearing you.
I didn't get when you guys said the visual arts entries will be closed.
March 31st.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Questions, guys?
So Mr. Judah Nathan Lewis is asking, what sort of themes do you usually look for?
So as usual, we leave the selection of themes open to artists to decide. But I just want to encourage that this year is Jamaica's 60th celebration. So bear that in mind, and there'll be a special award for that also.
Okay. Miss
And
Joan
we also,
Dawkins is asking where is the exhibition?
where
You can
is
go
the
ahead.
exhibition? We're planning something special for this year, and more information will be shared. We are trying to reach out to our parish or regions. We're trying to get the inclusion of all artists. I also want to remind that we are welcoming entries from artists with special needs. We have some special need institutions who are already reaching out and applying. We also have the inclusion of graphic design in our digital media aspect. So that's a new category. We're going to have a workshop on that also. So I'm encouraging everyone to enter this year. Enter, and be a part. I'd want any questions to be directed to our moderator or the panelists right now, and then we can, do other housekeeping matters after and then announce the viewers vote winner. There's also a WhatsApp line. Ms. Atkins, you want to give that info? It's in the chat. So if you want any assistance reapplying, there's also a lovely video that is made because all our pieces are now entered online, and you can WhatsApp at 876-859-2093. Again, welcome to all our participants, all our lecturers. I see lecturers from Michael, from Edna, other teachers across the island, or young artists. I love to see the young artists involved also, because that tells us we have a bright future ahead, Ms. Zaka, right?
Yes.
Yes, indeed.
Any
Yes, Mr.
questions
Rose.
for Yang Yang?
The questions that are to be asked, what do they pertain to?
The art that you just saw and the artist that you just met, the awardees work.
Oh, they are about the awardees work.
Yes.
Yes, the gold medal awardees.
Oh.
You can ask general questions after also, but we have these lovely artists here, and no persons wanted to ask them question. I know Mr. Radcliffe had the first question also for Donna Reed Greaves about the plastic bottle. Mr. Radcliffe, you still there? It seems like it's not there, but the floor is open to them after, and then any other general question, I'll be glad to answer.
Any questions on Mr. Harris, the present day bike culture, the construction of the piece, the size of the piece, all the little elements of the piece. Any questions? How did he put it together, for example? And that's a good one. How did you manage to put that together? How did you dissect a bike and reassemble? Cut the pieces. You have a carbon copy?
And Ms. Zaka, I don't think the photos did justice alone, because those bikes have audio. They were playing music. So that one with the Rasta color that was playing cultural music, the one with the fire was playing dancehall music, and they also had light on it. So I think those bikes are far more advanced than what you see in the photos. So yes, Mr. Harris, speak some more on that.
Construction.
Yeah, so the construction of the bike was built in parts, right? So the first part that I built was the wheels, right? And then after that, no, I built like the steering and all of that. But it's really just parts. I want people to look at it as really just different parts coming together to create one thing. Because sometimes people look at it, they are like, "Oh, you get to do this," but it's not just one thing. It's really parts coming together to create one thing. But it's just being able to ensure that all of the parts are sort of in sync and all of them like the main thing I was trying to get was balance, because if it's not balanced, then it would be sort of, you know, out of whack and so forth. So that was one of the main things that I was trying to get as it relates to, you know, the parts, connecting them together, because it's pretty challenging to create, but the hardest part is to get it balanced, you know, ensuring that all of these parts will work together, you know. So that's that.
So in terms of
The
scale,
light and the sound.
in
Yeah.
terms of scale, you never had to go measure the seat and measure the wheels and the handle and so on, so it appear real.
Well, yes, I had to do that at one point. I had to do some measurement. I saw somebody park their bike on the roadside, and I just go to them and ask them, you know, make some measurement of a bike. And he said, okay, so I did the measurement, you know, I just wrote it down, measured the wheel, wrote it down. It was just mostly the length and the height. Yeah, mostly the length and the height. I did the measurement. All the other parts are just me, I don't know. I'm good at thinking out how to at proportion in a sense. So I was able to get the right proportion for all the other parts, because I worked off of photos, you know. So after I got the measurement, I just look at the photos and then I just sort of plan it in my mind, because I think the thought process that goes into the creation of bike, it takes up a lot of time as well. So it's not just to, you know, cut up the cardboard and create the bike, but just thinking. Sometimes I'll be sitting down thinking for like an hour just to organize, you know, how I'm going to put everything together so that it works. Because if something doesn't work, I have to pull it apart completely and create something different. So thinking goes a lot into the whole creation and assembling of the parts of the bike.
I think you should. We wanted to have the tours with you guys there, but because of what was happening with you know, COVID. But I think, Renard, you should see the expression of the school children. I'm telling you, there were some there yesterday, and each section of the exhibition they go, ask what's the favorite, they have a favorite piece, and then them reach to the bike, and then everybody, you know, start steering there, and then start reevaluate, reassessing. And there are a few of them who say them go and make some, them can make it, you know, so you know that you're inspiring a lot.
Yes.
Yes. So
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, that's one of.
Could I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I'm trying to ask Renard if he's able to make other things apart from bikes. Is he going to venture out into other parts of machinery? Because one of the things I'm thinking about when I look at his work is whether or not it's really about bikes or it's about a certain kind of culture, and that can be expressed into other elements. For instance, if Renard was from a particular period in Jamaica history, it wouldn't only be bikes; it'd probably be Lada, and the history between, you know, how Lada became one of the dominant vehicles in Jamaican culture at that particular time as well. So I just wondering if he's going to branch out into other elements of Jamaican culture using the same material.
Well, definitely, because it's not just the bikes, specifically the Yang bikes, they come under a particular theme, which is Yang culture. So it was really for that purpose, you know, highlighting that the cultural dynamics of the Yang bikes and so forth. So of course, I'm going to venture into other things as well. Probably not just even things relative to Jamaica, but also to wider diaspora, you know. So because the cardboard is I've been working with cardboard for a while now, so definitely thinking about other things as well. It's just to start, you know, working on them and so forth. Because the other day I built a Honda 50, you know, it was a commission work. So it's not just Yang. Other bikes will not just bikes alone, but other things. I'll be creating other things as well
All
within
right.
the same automobile category and so forth. Yeah.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much, Renard. Any questions for Donna-Ree? Any questions for Donna-Ree? That's environmental concerns. The sea, the ocean, tidal wave, high tides, destruction of reefs. Any questions? No? Any questions?
Yeah, man. I have a question.
Okay.
Part of the concerns around ecology, I find, is that it shifts between almost a kind of geopolitics. So if you look at the issues surrounding like the mining in the cockpit country or Goat Island, will the work take on a political dimension, or will it be strict in terms of how it looks at the resulting damage as opposed to the cause of damage from a political standpoint? If you understand what
Well, definitely. The purpose of this one, why it was specifically geared to just the effects of plastic pollution, but definitely there are different aspects of pollutions that I want to venture out into in the future, experimenting with different materials and how I can get across the message, because plastic pollution is not the only problem that we face. It's just one of the many. And during my research, that was just the one of the most popular, so that's why I stuck to that one. But definitely I'll be venturing out as I study more and see what's out there for me to express through my art, if that answers your question.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Mr.
man,
Rose,
very, very good. Very good.
we're up on the 6 o'clock bell, Mr. Rose. We're cutting it close
Yes, but
now.
let's ask if anyone has any for Kadeen. Any question for Kadeen?
I don't have so much of a question, but more of a comment. The one, I think it's this one that it was entitled, I'm choppy with a comb. This one stood out to me. I took a photograph of it when I was at the show because it's something that resonates with my daughter and myself. Every single time I'm combing her hair, every minute she say, "You done yet?" I'm say, "No, I'm not done yet. If I'm done, I tell you." And then a few minutes later, she say, "You done it?" I'm say, "Tap your eyes before me chop you with a comb." So as soon as I saw this, I laughed. I resigned. I think for Black women, hair is such a big deal to us. It is definitely part of our culture. Definitely something all Black women and young ladies can relate to. But I particularly like that she said there's a positive spin to it, that her mother and her would have stories passed on and they would talk during these times. So I found those very interesting. I particularly was drawn to those.
Could I add something there? I do like that comment, but also I remember when I was a child, I would get chopped with the comb as well. I remember when I was going to basic school, and Rose, you might remember when they would grab me by the forehead and then pull the comb from the back of your head forward, and this is how a lot of guys get their hair comb. So it's really a back to front, almost a kind of, and it's because our hair is generally shorter, there seems to be less tenderness because they feel like somehow we feel less pain because it's not as much hair. So I would get a lot of threats in a similar way. But I do like the art very much. I think I like that the artist said that it's a very personal way to look about the materials and it somehow, when art is made in this kind of personal language, it sort of connects more. And you see, as you can see, we're here talking about our own personal experiences through the work. So I do like that as well. Good
All
art
right.
and great comment.
Yes, yes, Sir Philip, I remember. And we have males can relate to, cause I have some male with the nappy ear, you know, my ear rolly, you know. And funnily, yesterday, I'm telling you, when the school was touring, there were two girls from Minto Primary. I believe I saw the teacher online, too, but when I asked, what's your favorite? This one. This was their favorite, Mind the Choppy with McComb. And it was a similar story as to what this James was saying and what Kadeen shared about the experiences with their mother and that sort of bonding. So indeed, it's a very powerful work. Very powerful. Yes, ladies.
So this is where I will wrap my segment. Listen, we have learned many things this evening. One is that we are no longer limited to paint on canvas, oil paint, water paint, acrylic paint. What we have seen today out of the JCDC are all constructed pieces of artwork, bits and pieces of sculpture made of several materials. And that is only construction. We also noticed that everyone in this presentation looked at things that affect us today. The environmental situation, what's happening with our sea, the reef, the rainfalls, and so on. Our culture, the storehouse of what we used to do and what is still necessary to keep and what is still good for others to learn. I remember when Joan Andrea Hutchinson came out with that bumpy head girl story and everybody took on to it. It became fashionable. Constructing artwork, the bike. We see this all the time. You buy a piece of artwork, you punch out the parts and you put them together. And we used to buy those little things for children. You buy a house in 6 pieces. They punch out the walls, they punch out the roof, and then they assemble them or reassemble them. This artist could also be somebody who builds houses, an architect. We are closing the boundary or we are overlapping disciplines. And I think it's such a good story that 2021 showed us and told us, and we as judges have learned from. Continue to be involved with the festival, continue to spread the word. It is a necessary part of our culture. We need it. So we're depending on you, guys. We're depending on you to move forward for the next exhibition. Thank you for coming. And once again, congratulations from the committee. Thank you.
Thank you again.
Wonderful. All right. Don't move as yet because we are going to announce the viewers' vote winner. And that person will be getting a cash prize and also a trophy. So although the exhibition went up, we had an award ceremony, but there are still things happening. Works are being purchased. We have people viewing your works online. There's all the works are on the Facebook page. There are other possibilities. So let me just say it's ongoing. So while these works are up and you're working on new works for this year exhibition, things are still happening. So let me give you the figures from the viewers vote, which was on Facebook. In 3rd place, the person got 192 likes. That was the ID number 27. 2nd place got 238 likes, ID number 53. And the person in 1st place with 298 likes, is none other than Mr. Lyons, who Mr. Radcliffe mentioned earlier, who is also an entrant in other areas, and I'm going to share his work. Now, Mr. Lyons, are you here? Can you say a few words? Should I give a little drum roll and thing, but well done, congratulations.
Greetings.
And the title of his work is called Hustle. Everybody seeing it on screen? So we have the Viewers Vote Award going to a photographer. So we have, yes, we can give a big clap and thing. Mr. Lyons, I don't know if any of the adjudicators want to speak, but there was another piece that I particularly like, but I'm not part of the panel. But you got the Viewers Vote Award, sir.
Yes, I'm here. Are you hearing me clearly?
Yes, we're hearing you.
Yes, yes.
Congratulations.
Yeah, man,
Anything
thank you
to
very
say?
much. And good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Just a few comments. I heard the questions that went to the first, second, and third place winners earlier. And, you know, I was just thinking, what would I answer and say? Because, to be honest, I'm a reporter at the Jamaica Observer. So I was just in downtown. And, you know, I saw the man holding, you know, he's a vendor,
Yes.
obviously. And I've been seeing him since I was in primary school, going downtown to take the buses. But I was never in a position to, you know, pull out a camera and take his picture. So I was there one day and it was raining. And I thought, you know, this man is dedicated to the hustle, which is why I decided to call it Hustle. So I just pulled out my phone and I took his picture. And I wasn't even able to make any, you know, edits to it and stuff like that because the lighting could have been, you know, a lot better. By the time I found out about the visual arts section of the JCDC, the visual arts competition, it was, I found out about the visual arts competition on the day that the entries were going to be closed. So I just rushed and uploaded it and so forth. So this is really amazing. Yeah, it's a good feeling. Thank you very much.
Awesome. But you know, you're contradicting yourself because you're saying you don't know what to really say in relation to the question, but you realize you also say you've been seeing him from you were a child, from you were a kid going down there. So that's years of study and research and observation of this subject matter, right, Lady Zaka?
Yes, it
The
is.
photography specialist.
Yeah.
So
it is. This is a serious piece of photojournalism. It speaks to the resilience of the Jamaican people. I mean, it is raining and yet it is colorful. The man is selling donuts. He's probably selling phone card and he's probably selling, what's on the board? He's probably selling newspaper. But he's doing a lot just by walking. You can't ask him more than, there's no stall. The mask is halfway on his face, which tells another story. You can't be walking around with mask. It is colorful and it includes what else is happening in the background. He's in a place where there are other vendors. It is very Jamaican, it's sweet. I understand why you got, what, 278 points? Commendable. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
198. Did well, man.
98. Okay.
Yeah.
And I get a trophy as well. That's great. Something to put on my dresser. That's nice.
What kind of camera do you use? Hello, you say you work with the Observer? Hello?
Mr. Lyons is still there?
I don't think so.
All right, just giving a little preview of what's coming next from the visual arts unit at JCDC is gonna be our workshop. So I'm just sharing, you know, the dates and time for you to jot down, add to your calendar. If there are any adjustment changes, you'll know ahead of time. But it's titled the ABC 1, 2, 3 of art. So it's really all these presenters focusing on, you know, the top 3 things that they would want to share about these areas. And all of them are practicing, are practitioners for all areas. So on Monday the 14th, we should be having Bright and Brown for painting. That's printmaking. For painting, we're gonna have Zora Allen. We're gonna have collage, Miss Camille Cheddar, Greg Bailey for drawing, Mr. Cole for sculpture, Donna Ree for textiles, graphic design, we have Sean Henry, and photography, Lady Zaka. It's a nice balance, 4 females, 4 males, and we want it to be very interactive. I want to say to the teachers now that you can use this as, you know, a class session, because we're starting from 9 a.m. we're ending at 4. So it's 2 segments, morning and afternoon. So whichever you have the class, if your students are able to have devices, all of them can stream on or just join in. We're gonna share the flyer and the link very soon. So just promote it across the island, and know that it's actually CXC period now, meaning SBA period. So I think this workshop is not only going to be beneficial for entering the competition, but also for them to finish their SBAs and to prep for exams. And I also encourage teachers and students that it can be a win-win, meaning you pick, you know, some of your SBA pieces and you take the photo and enter, because we're going to basically collect the actual work after it's marked. So it's a win-win. They don't have to really stop their schoolwork to do additional work. So JCDC, it can be the same. Understand? So please stay tuned for these workshops. And as usual, as I say, you can reach out to us on the WhatsApp line and stay tuned to the social media pages. And we went over 15 minutes. I don't really want to go too far. I think we can close off here. If there are no other questions, comments, Ms. Atkins, anything I'm missing out?
No, sir, you're good.
Okay, wonderful. Any final questions? I see. Okay, just some clapping, some good comments. All right, so
Questions pertaining to it.
I see a hand up.
Somebody said, where is the exhibition, by the way?
I had answered it to be announced. Based on the concepts for this year, Jamaica 60, we should be going into some regions. So we're gonna have we should have a show in, you know, Cornwall, Middlesex, sorry, and then, you know, a grand show of all the top winners in Kingston. We're also gonna feature something special. We're gonna feature our intuitives and our master artists, you know, so some veteran artists that we all know, who are trained and so on. And we're also going to feature some artists who we see maybe in our community who have been working for years, 30, 40 years, but haven't really been exhibiting in galleries. We're going to select those persons. So we did a all island sort of tour going across and looking at a lot of these artists. So we're gonna do, you know, a special session and invite a lot of them. So it's gonna be special. You have to just stay tuned. All right. Deadlines for this year competition, March 31st. So the end of the month. Also, the exhibition is going to be extended, the current exhibition to the 25th. So please go down to the Jamaica Conference Center and get a view before we take it down. Also, the following week after that, which is going to be the 28th to the 28th to the 30th, we're pretty much going to want everyone to come in and to, well, go to the parish offices and those who are in Kingston and St. Andrew to come to the conference center to pick up the works. But you'll be notified, but just giving you a heads up. And if there are persons who have works that they didn't pick up in the past year, please also look out for them to pick up. Is that all?
Yes, I'm asking if it's general questions we can ask.
Yes, sir. Can ask a general question.
So I'm wondering if the commission will be putting on any auctions anytime soon.
That is a good question.
It is.
We're open to that, to the idea of auctions, but I think we definitely need to finish off with this exhibition, finish off with the Jamaica 60, and then we can explore that some more. We're also thinking of, you know, publication, online galleries, where persons can see, you know, these artworks online and make purchase online. But as I said, there's a lot in store and you have to stay tuned, Israel. Go ahead.
So auctions are on your schedule, or it's something you're going to think about?
We're thinking about it, so it's automatically on it.
Which leads to my next question.
Yes.
Advertisement and marketing. I'm wondering if the commission doing everything it needs to do to advertise the exhibitions and all the programs it's holding.
All right, so we have a whole department that deals with marketing. I think they would best answer that question. But from my table, as you would have realized, that the commission not just cater for visual arts. So there are several things running concurrently, okay? So there is the performing arts, which include the speech and the dance and the drama. As I said, for those persons who are versatile like that, you can also enter. There's also traditional folk form, there's culinary arts. So all of those areas have to be marketed and promoted at, you know, similar times. But I think we're doing our best. And I think in everything there is growth. So we are aiming to always be better and better.
And my third question is if you will be dabbling in the non-fungible tokens market.
We have already started that dialogue. So it is in the process, I'll say that, but we have already, and I spoke earlier about the...
And who, and 1 second, and who will get access to its early development?
As I said before, we haven't reached that point, finalized, but I'm just going to tell you, did you see the video, the YouTube video exhibition that we had, the Heritage Day? Did you see that one?
No.
It's a 360
no,
video. So go on the channel, the Jcdc YouTube channel, and type in visual art exhibition and you should see it. Now it's a 360 YouTube video, meaning that you are pretty much getting a tour of the exhibition and you can touch your screen and turn left, right, center, etc. Now the persons who created that, who I can mention, you know, is the president of EA Sport or Games in Jamaica. He's working on that. As I mentioned and welcome some persons, we are, you know, coordinating with Kingston Creatives. So we're coordinating with, you know, Edna Manley and all the art stakeholders and entities. So as I said, the moment those are finalized, you'll definitely see something out. Okay?
Yes.
All right. Wonderful. They say a child shall lead the way. See all these big questions coming from our youth entrant. Any other questions? All right. So I believe we are going to come to a close right now because Madam Moderator gave her last words. I still see my Sir Director present. Any last words, Sir Broadbaugh? Close off.
I just want to say thanks to you and to the presenter and to all the persons who have joined this Zoom session. I just want to say thank you very much.
Awesome. Again, it was a privilege and honor to have everyone be a part this afternoon. The session is recorded, so for those who miss it, I'm going to work with the ICT department to have it posted on YouTube so you can also encourage persons to go to our YouTube channel and watch it after. And if you want to watch it again, you know, to hear or see whatever you missed out from the artists or to see their works again, you can also get that benefit. So again, thanks to everyone for joining us today. All the best, keep safe, work good, and let's practice peace as today's Peace Day, and let's pray for those persons across the globe, Ukraine, all of that, you know, those things that are happening. Let's just pray for each other and keep safe. Work good. Blessings from me here at the Jcdc and the rest of the team.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you all.